Right, I think we're live. Hello world. Can somebody in the world, we have a few people watching, can somebody confirm the audio is good? Brian and Stefan, can you just say hi? Can, can, can someone confirm that they can hear all of us before we start? That would be great. Waiting on confirmation. Seems like we're good. Yeah, it seems like we're good. Okay. Hello, everyone. We're going to crack on. We've got a few of these to go through. So I'm Brian Waters from the QTube. Thank you for tuning in. This is a monthly thing that we do with our two wonderful guests that we'll introduce in a second to review your work. So this is a completely free thing from the QTube. As you know, the QTube is here to sort of support up-and-coming composers as much as possible. And one of the ways that we do that is providing these live feedback sessions with our two esteemed guests. So without further ado, let's introduce our experts. That's certainly not me. I'm just here as the chairman of the board. So let's start with Stefan for a bit of variety. Stefan, do you want to introduce yourself? Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. So today's session is a live review. It's a completion, really, of a live review of the trailer double bill that we released before New Year. So we split it across two sessions this time because there weren't so many, and we figured it would be nice to give everybody a shout out on the live stream. So we're completing that today, and then we'll have a giveaway from Fracture Sounds for everybody that submitted, and then I'll have some updates and stuff regarding Vesper, regarding what's coming next, and so on. We've got a lot of exciting things, so stay with us, but the priority now is to go through about 8 different rescores that have been submitted and give a little bit of expert feedback on each of those. So without further ado, Stefan, do you want to cue up the first one? Oh, hang on. Someone's saying no that they can't hear after somebody saying that they could. Well, it's definitely okay because I'm listening on the... Oh, maybe it's you guys. Yeah, I think they're only hearing me. 1 second. Let me... Yeah, it's me, I think, that they can hear, but... The stream has been interrupted because the software crashed. I'm hoping that we're back up and running now. There is a clock ticking, definitely.
There is.
The stream has been interrupted because it looks like we're okay. Software crashed.
Yeah. Do we need to do the intro again, or?
1 sec. We're back up and running now. There is a clock ticking, definitely.
There is.
Yeah, it looks like we're okay. Yeah. Okay, it seems like we're okay. So apologies. Software crashed again. I'm definitely going to look for an alternative piece of software because we can't be having this every time. Brian, can you just say hi so we can just verify yours?
Hi.
But there shouldn't be any.
Brian here.
There wouldn't be any reason why just Brian's was not working. So I'm not sure whether we got the introduction, so I guess we should very, very quickly rattle through those again. Apologies, everybody. Stefan, okay. Do you want to just...
Oh yeah, I'm Stefan Gordon. I'm Principal Lecturer at Leeds Conservatoire. I work on the film music pathway alongside Brian. I teach film studies, film theories, production and composition.
I guess we should
my name's
very
Brian
quickly
Morrell.
rattle
I'm
through
also
those again.
principal
Apologies,
lecturer at
everybody.
Leeds Conservatoire.
Stefan, do you want to
At
just...
Conservatoire, I work alongside
I'm
Stefan
Stefan
Gordon.
Gordon.
I'm also the deputy head of the School of Music and Education, which encompasses the BA undergraduate degree in film music, which I wrote with assistance from Stefan.
Okay, lovely, thank you. So I presume that you heard my intro saying what we're doing today and what this is all about. So let's crack on. We've got 8 of your rescores to go through. So Stefan, do you want to cue up the first one and introduce the composer?
So we're going to start with John Gonzalez, who has rescored the trailer for the Cosmos laundromat. So I'll cue
All
that
about.
up.
So let's crack on. We've got 8 of your rescores to go through.
Hopefully, can you all see that?
We can certainly see it, yeah.
And hopefully you can hear.
Yeah.
Can you...
Tell me.
Laundromat. So I'll cue
All
that
about.
up.
So let's crack on. We've got 8 of your rescores.
Hopefully, can you all see that?
We can certainly see it, yeah.
Hopefully you can hear.
No,
Yeah.
one doesn't. Just give me 1 minute of your precious time.
So I'll cue
All
that
about.
up.
So let's crack on.
My name's Victor. You are so much more than just a sheep, aren't you? Look at you. You're an adventurer, Frank. A lone wolf. No! 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 No!
It took me ages to tie that rope with my fucking hoofs.
Okay, should I kick off, Steph?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I thought this was really nice, actually. I thought the music in general really works with the film. It had this really nice, what I would call a pastoral feel. When I say pastoral, I guess I'm referring to kind of Beethoven's Pastoral Symphony. It's got like a very environmental kind of countryside sound. There's a little thing where you had an F minor chord and then you had this that kind of vibe going on, and that was really nice. It's a lovely way of actually merging the textural sounds you've got, which are, like I say, are very pastoral, but also you've written in that style. Okay, when we often talk to students at the Conservatoire, we often say what's really important with music is that what you've written matches a lovely the way of actually which you've written it, which sounds obvious, the textural but it means that if you're using like a certain very bunch of textures, that you're writing in a style where those textures sound normal and they sound at home. And that was really the case with this one. Around 16 seconds you do a move to G minor, which is really nice, a kind of key change, very nice writing, very solid and reassuring, which lends itself to the narrative and the story. 28, there's a really nice discordant arpeggiation which gives it a kind of out of this world feel or a wonderment feel. And around 30, when he says, "My name is Victor," very nice motif there with piano strings and woodwinds. 51 seconds or thereabouts, you've got this dark skies on the screen, and that is backed up really well by the music, which becomes less reassuring, which is what it's supposed to be. And what I've put here is that music ultimately is about balance, and it's about counterpoint between different styles that you employ. The reason the dark music sounded really good is because it was preceded by the other stuff. Okay, first of all, you had this really nice kind of like Beethoven vibe going on, and then you went to the darkness, like I just said, and it's only when you've got those two opposites that they basically bounce off each other. So the dark music is only dark by comparison to what came before, and that really shows good compositional skill, and it also shows that you're reading the film well. The music around 110 onwards, as the sky lights up, did get a little bit jumbled, a little tiny bit jumbled and confusing at that point. I think it got a bit too busy. I think you need to keep ahead of the curve, and you need to make sure you've got a kind of coherent musical journey, even if it's supposed to sound chaotic. Even with music that's supposed to sound chaotic, it's got to be ordered. About 1:30 finally you had this lovely Danny Elfman thing with the Celesta, which suited that area of the film really well, and I think in general this was really good, so well done.
Yeah, similar really to, I think Brian's covered quite a lot of what I was going to say. I thought it was really nice. I mean, I wrote down some really good ideas here. Really, it's full of energy, an overall kind of real strong vision for it. I thought the strings at the start were really nice. I thought what I noted down, which Brian picked up, was that I thought some of the punctuation was particularly good, around 27 seconds. I wrote in my notes, maybe this choice of instruments started really nice. Reconsidered in places where the piano sort of was kind of stuck out a little bit. But I thought the sort of string arrangement stuff was really nice. I thought the samples, again, occasionally were exposed. And for me, I mention this on these sessions quite a lot. I think once you start to use percussion, I think you get alerted to it a little bit. I mean, that might be just me, and then you start looking for other sort of sample sounds. So I thought some of the sort of percussive hits were, maybe could have been sort of processed a little bit more. So just be careful. I think once you start adding more stuff, that all the samples are working together effectively, because if one sticks out, then it's going to draw attention to others that might actually have been fine and nobody would have noticed. So be wary of that. Brian mentioned this about reading the film, which I picked up on, because I thought you were really respectful of the film, actually. And I thought some of the drops when you're sort of trying to punctuate it, I think that's it for a composer, is kind of the word respect, and respecting the film, and respecting the story, respecting the characters. So I thought all that was really nice. Because I think my last line that I wrote down was that I felt that while some of the musical elements could have been developed a little bit better and a little bit stronger, overall you showed a lot of respect for the film, which was something that's kind of nice to see. Again, maybe the mix could have been brought down in places to make it more sit better, but yeah, a nice piece, so well done.
Good. Was that John Gonzalez? Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Because I know that he's also submitted for Vesper, so that's great. So
Great.
He's a regular. So good luck, John, with your Vesper rescore.
It's also, just really quickly, it's just another thing to say that Steph mentioned it last time, that me and Steph don't confer.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how many times we end up Liza saying the same thing, which I guess is testament to the music, really,
Absolutely. Yeah. And we picked up on really similar things on that one, I felt.
Brilliant. So what's the next one, Steph?
Selena Norris.
Okay.
Let me fire that up.
Yeah, Selena, I think possibly has also submitted. She submitted for Vesper as well. So.
Right. Okay. So let me know if you any problems seeing on hearing this.
Oh, you are so much more than just a
seems fine.
sheep, aren't you?
Oh, yeah? How would you know?
Oh, it's kind of.
You're an adventurer, Frank. A lone wolf.
Well, this better be good.
regret this.
Excellent. Okay, again, I thought this was really good actually. There was quite a lot of background noise on the actual recording at the start, which is a bit of a shame. I don't know where that came from. I think that was on when I listened to it earlier. It was like that, and it was a little bit muffled down at the bass area, which meant that some of the intricate lines you'd written weren't really good actually through. There's a lovely change when the guy puts the headphones on and you have this, I think it's a balalaika sample, when you have something like that, and it's just really, really lovely musical idea. That just great textures, perfect writing for it. I don't know if it is a balalaika. It sounded very much a balalaika to me, and this is obviously what he's listening to. In the last submissions we listened to a few weeks ago on this, we talked about the importance of making sure that the music that he's listening to, which technically is diegetic music, in other words, it's music that's in the film, that there's obviously a major distinction between what comes first, the film music that you're writing, the underscore music, and then when he studs the headphones on, that's when you're writing what he can hear. And possibly it would have been nice if there was a bit more of a distinction between what came first and that lovely balalaika music then. I mean, that's generally a great challenge of films like this, where you've got a film where you've got a scene where somebody starts listening to music that's in the world of the film. Very challenging, and you know, one of the great things about the films that Brian puts on, you know, is that some of them are not easy, and they've got things like this going on. I thought at around 39 seconds, 40 seconds, it was a little bit chaotic, a little bit over full. There was a kind of a loud whistle going on as well, which seemed to obliterate a lot of the things around it, so a little bit too much. But generally speaking, really good writing, and that balalaika bit, very, very nice writing. So well done.
Yeah, well done as well. I liked this. I was looking at your note. I was looking at the notes on this, and I think this is what I sort of like. I've noted down that I thought it was really inventive. With different, you've written down about my ideas for the trailer were based around a melodic theme on various pan flutes and pipes, and a later manipulated harp sound. So I thought it was really inventive. And what I also liked, sort of connected with the last piece actually about respect for the film, was that you had really respect for the character, because you noted down about apprehension as a kind of emotion. So I thought what really struck me was that you've taken the time to watch this and thought, how can I pick out a central emotion in the film to illustrate by the music. So I thought that was really nice, and considering it's like however long it is, 1 minute long clip, it was packed full of ideas, and quite often that can be problematic because it was chopping and changing, but I thought you made this work really well, and I thought the production sounds were great. I mean, me personally, some of those kick drums that come in places when you've got like credits and stuff seem to be in the wrong place, or they were just, I don't know, it felt like that they stuck out slightly, but that might be just a sort of personal thing. But I thought the production was good, and the kind of electronic sort of backdrop and soundscape to it was really confidently done. So yeah, really inventive piece with a lot of energy, and the fact that you picked out and what you felt was a key emotion in the narrative were great. So well done, good stuff.
Excellent, thank you. Who's next?
We next have Giancarlo Gordon.
Okay, I think he's also submitted Vesper. Is he? Got quite a few now. I could be confusing. Yes.
Yeah.
He has.
Yeah. Brilliant.
You just admitted you're freaked out by my robot hand.
This is pretty freaky.
It's not my fault, you know.
Okay. Again, this is Dr. Gordon. Again, I thought this was good. I love that initial slide up to the D. That's really cool right at the beginning. I did think the music generally, as a broad general statement, was too loud. The bit where she says you're freaked out by my robot hand, that has always been a problematic bit whenever we've had this film. People have difficulty writing over that, and it's understandable because it's a really important bit and you want to write over it, or under it rather, but you have to really try and write behind it and not obliterate it. Around 15 seconds onwards we see the spaceship and we hear this great pulsating rhythm along with these D minor and C chords. I think musically very dramatic and energetic, but sometimes the rhythmic aspects of the music tend to collide with the sound design. If you've got sound design in the background with guns and bells and whistles going off, and you've got drum rhythms musically behind that, the two don't always travel very well together. They often get in the way of each other, and if that happens on a regular Hollywood film, that is subject to some serious sound engineering to make sure that the two can live happily. So if you're doing that kind of thing and you're using heavy percussion, drums, complex rhythms behind sound design, just basically watch that. You do pull back compositionally when we hit the bit where the guy goes, "It's not my fault." That's good to see. You didn't just plow through that. That was really well respected. The bass drops worked really well, but generally, if there was a general statement, I'd say possibly more harmonic and textural substance needed, and not quite so heavy on the percussion. Yeah, good.
Great. Yeah, as Brian said before, we don't confer, but I think we picked out exactly the same points here. I thought the sound design, because I sort of noted down this would be a re-recording mixer's nightmare, that they were trying to balance out the sound design with the music. Not to take anything away from the music, because I thought it was really, really well done actually. When you listen to it in headphones, I thought the production's really crisp and really well executed. But a re-recording mixer would have to go, "Oh man, I'm gonna have to really, work the sound design in with the music element here." Because I noted down about gunshots and that kind of stuff that would probably sort of clash with some of the electronic percussion, but minor points really in terms of the energy in this and how well it was punctuated. As Brian picked out, there's two main drops in this. The first is the shot when he's looking at the brain, and the second one when he said "It's not my fault," and you hit them perfectly. Actually, it's like really spot on. So I thought from that perspective it was great, and it did, the way it kicked in, it felt like the music should be there. That's a skill in itself, to sort of present a film and go, yeah, the music belongs there. It's always been there. So from that perspective, great. As I say, maybe I think carried away in places, to do with fitting it in with the kind of sound design, but you could definitely sort that out at some point. One last point with this, what I really liked about how much energy it had is when I started the video, and there's a picture of you as a composer at the front, and there's a picture of you at the end. I just thought it was great. It just showed and demonstrated your energy, and it's recommended this kind of, it's not for everyone obviously, but as in like show reels to present the personality behind the work. I thought that was great, actually. Really nice touch. So well done. Really good stuff.
Excellent. Thank you from a couple of people in the chat for the feedback. Selena, I believe, and yeah,
Right.
everyone seems to be enjoying it, which is great. Who's
Brilliant.
next?
So we've got Burke Dickman on this one. So this is the full-length version. So this is going to be about 10 minutes. This one.
Okay.
So should we go through all of it then, Brian? Do you think?
No.
Okay.
We
What do you want to do?
So this was supposed to be focusing on the trailers, but what we can do is play a segment of it, and obviously people can find it online if they want to hear the whole thing. And yeah, just give your sort of feedback on it. Is that okay? Would it make sense to give the feedback without
Yeah.
playing?
Yeah.
Let me just.
Steph, if you're only going to play a bit of it, could you try and include the bit around 3 to 4 minutes as part of that, if that's all right?
I'll tell you what. I'll do a run up to that and say like
Okay.
from 2:40.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Yep.
My name is Victor. Hi. And you are Frank. Oh, you are so much more than just a sheep, aren't you?
Oh, yeah? How would you know?
Look at you. You're an adventurer, Frank. Just like me. You're a lone wolf. Tell me, does one choose to be alone? No, one doesn't. One doesn't even choose to be a wolf. Or does one?
Well, Mr. Hector.
Victor.
I don't know what you're on about, but I'm just a sheep minding its own business. I suggest you do the same.
No, Frank, wait. No, this is not the way. Just give me 1 minute of your precious time.
Precious time?
Yeah, just give me 1 minute. You would have 1 more minute, wouldn't you? Okay, half a minute. I knew it. You will not regret this. The adventures you will have, all the lives you ever wanted, all you've been missing. Here, this is the best product we have in store. Variable spin speed, excellent tumble performance, and one handy device, squeaky clean.
Well, this better be good. It took me ages to tie that rope.
Do you want me to keep going or?
No, that's good.
Yeah.
And it sounds really nice. It's a shame we can't hear the whole thing, but it is what it is. But yeah, it sounds lovely. So.
Okay, so I think this is a really, I mean, musically there's some great ideas here. There's some, and the samples sound good. A lot of it sounds incredibly well produced and fleshed out, almost as if it was, from an actual recording or whatever. But it's very, very well done musically. There's some really, really nice woodwind writing, very symphonic, very theatrical in places. I think the music initially comes in around 50 seconds, and I realise I'm probably commenting on bits maybe that weren't heard. There are a couple of things which are a bit dodgy, and one of them is you've got this line that goes something like that. That is uncannily like the Wagner piece Tristan and Isolde. I don't know if that's what you've modelled it on, but it is very like that. And if you were actually writing this in a professional project, I would I would look at that and I would make sure that it wasn't that much alike Tristan and Isolde. It may well be just that you're influenced by that, but sometimes influences can end up becoming quite problematic. But either way, I mean, apart from that idea, which comes 3 or 4 times, good use of woodwind, etc., etc. As the piece progresses, there is some lovely romantic string writing and later woodwinds. Only thing I would say as a negative is that some of the woodwind writing and the writing generally is really nice, it's really lovely, but it does get in the way of the dialogue sometimes. The guy is talking and it's almost like there's a recording on in the background of something, and that this is diegetic music almost. This is him with a record on in the background, and that's not meant to be overly critical. It's just if you're writing complex woodwind parts over people talking, you know, it can be very, very difficult territory. That you've got to be so careful when you're trying to craft music around people talking. So the music, if we're talking about the music itself, absolutely some spellbinding moments. There were times though when it just got in the way of the dialogue. But really nice woodwind writing, and like I say, I would get rid of the Wagner quote if you were going to use this anywhere else, frankly. Anyway, that's it. Yeah, good stuff.
Was there a comment from him about this, that is part of study or something?
Right, so I was just going to say this, is that in his notes it says, I'll be taking a master's entrance exam in film music, and I saw Cosmos Laundromat as a perfect opportunity to compose music. So from that perspective, I thought this was very, I mean, Brian's covered it, I thought it was really well done anyway, but I think as a sort of sample piece for that, I think it was great, because what struck me about it, like some of the others, that they've not been afraid to sort of try ideas out really, and to see where it takes them. And I would recommend for those that are watching or those that watch afterwards is to check this piece out, because what he does is that he creates a rock track basically. There's listening to in headphones, which is and it shows the versatility of the composers, because sometimes you've got to do other stuff, and you know the director might say, Joe, I want this and the budget might not stretch to somebody else, bringing someone else in, so the composer, well, I can do that. And they did a really good job of it, particularly some of the guitar playing, and the composition was really good. But to add to that, what they also does at the end, and again, if you had more time I could show it, but I do, you know, recommend people check this out, is that when the characters lay on the floor with the headphones, you can hear the track being filtered and you can hear it through the headphones. I thought that was it was a really nice touch actually.
Yeah.
The only thing I mean, Brian's covered the stuff about and I've said the same thing about dialogue, because I thought the writing was nice, but it's just started to really dominate the dialogue moments. So Brian's covered all that. My thing about the rock track, I thought that was really well done, apart from drums. And it's not to say the drums are bad, I just thought with when you're using with drums, they just take ages. So I think it's like, I thought some of the snare was a little bit on the thin side in general. So as soon as you commit to doing a rock track with drums in it, I think you're in a whole different world, and I think that probably maybe just needed a bit more time spending on it. But very inventive, and as I say, to try out a full score plus a rock track plus then filter it through headphones. Yeah, well done. Good stuff.
Excellent.
I just noticed, Steph, I missed that out when I did my thing. I said there's some when the guy puts the headphones on and stares up at the skies, great guitar work. Yeah, I missed this. I missed that. That was really, really top draw. That was.
It was. Yeah, it was really well executed. I thought that.
Yeah,
it's great.
Okay, good. Who's next?
We've got Isabel Varley next.
Oh yeah, she's another regular, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I do recognise the name actually.
Yeah, and I've got a feeling she might have submitted.
Okay, right. Let me fire this.
Maybe not.
Why don't you just admit that you're freaked out by my robot hands?
not my fault, you know.
Okay, yeah. I thought this was really nice. Again, it's the diegetic. Sorry, I'm in the wrong place. I do beg your pardon. Sorry, Steph. Was this Alison's?
No, this is Isabel.
I beg your pardon. It's Isabel.
Yeah,
I thought it was.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Again, it's that thing with the robot hand. That kind of thing going to haunt us, I think, forever. I think there's some really nice writing. I thought there was some really nice chord tricks there, the B flat to the D minor, and just some really nice stuff there going on. There's odd occasional bits where the dialogue doesn't get in as much as it could, where he goes, this is a bit freaky, and stuff like that. And there's just a few things where the music was just dominating a little bit, and I think that sonically it could have benefited from a slightly better mix, to be honest with you. But there were some nice musical ideas anyway. Yeah.
Well done. What I noted down here, and it came back to me about the first session we did on these, about your choice of which way to go, and it sort of demonstrates the power of film music. So with this, rather than doing a sort of full action sequence, you were making it more kind of emotional, really, and more took a step back from that. So in other words, we were looking at, yes, what's this, a science fiction and all that kind of stuff. Maybe the tragedy of war and that kind of element, which I thought was a nice way to go with this. I felt it was slightly. It felt repetitive in places, because whilst you got a kind of groove, I think you kind of kept going round that same groove rather than fitting it to the piece. So for instance, when it sort of drops to the moment with the brain, we were still in that loop in a way, and so like the hits were over that lines of dialogue. So I just thought at that point, because what it felt like to me was, you were going round, whereas that needed the drop, and it needed to have a better shape in around that bit. And also when you do, I mean, it's slightly different because it had a bit more of an electronic vibe to this, but those kind of hits like that, if they're going to be a feature, they need to be really convincing. I mean, it was convincing in terms of the levels of it, but I thought the sound of it probably needed to be stronger, because it was so up front. But having said all this, I thought there was a real moment where you decided to take it down a certain road in terms of making it that bit more emotional. And that demonstrated your overall vision for it, which is great to see. I think that's what's kind of really important. Whilst you can develop your skills as a composer, no question, I think getting your sort of ideas, sort of thematic and conceptual ideas, to be visible, is a big part of the process. So well done. Good
Excellent stuff. We've got about 3 more, is that right? No, 4 more. 3 more.
So we've got 2 from Alison and then Fabio.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Can I just interrupt briefly? Just say, stay with us, people, because we've got the draw for the Fracture Sounds library, and also some information about what's coming next. New stuff from the QTube. We've got a few of your students, by the way, in the chat there, chaps. We've got Elliot Rao, James Mazzoki.
Hello, James.
And Jem. I don't know any more.
Oh, and Jem as well. Hello, Jem.
Jem. So yeah, a few of your faithful students there.
Oh, good.
All right, who's next?
Right, we have Alison Hancock.
Okay.
Right, so let me.
So we've got 2 from her, yeah.
We have. Just to sort of say with Alison's, just to know, because she wrote this down, so she pointed out, she said, I'm new to this art of scoring films, so please let me know what you think in the comments below. Keep in mind I'm a noob, so easy going. And she wrote that down in the notes online, which as well, about that this is kind of her first go at it, or she's very new to doing this. So just wanted to point that out. Right.
Well, that's great. I mean, that's who this
so
is for.
much more than just a sheep, aren't you? Oh yeah. How would you know? You're an adventurer, Frank. A lone wolf.
Well, this better be good.
Ah, you will not regret this.
Okay, right. And so obviously Steph just said that apparently this person is brand new to film scoring, and obviously, I mean, bearing that in mind, I think this is a good attempt. What I would say is part of the deal when you're writing music for film is not just writing music, but also making sure that the different areas are balanced out. Brian, I'm hearing myself back again. Can you turn that off? Yeah, that's worked. Yeah, I'll start that again. So the balance between the non-diegetic stuff at the beginning, in other words, the film music, and the stuff that the guy was listening to on the headphones, the balance between those two was really extreme. The film was all right volume-wise. Brian, can you hear me?
We can hear ourselves back.
Can you? Yeah.
You able to turn that off, Brian?
One sec. I think we're okay now.
Yeah.
Right, I'll
Yeah,
try
it's
it
got
again.
now.
Third
Yeah.
time lucky. Okay, so again, like just saying, the balance between the initial music, which was the film music, and then you went into the diegetic music, which is when the person is listening on the headphones. The balance between those two from a volume point of view was extreme. One of the hardest things when you're writing music, people think it's all about writing notes and chords and stuff like that, and it's about balance, and it's about getting the sounds right and the balance between the different sections right. The diegetic music, I'm calling it that because the person was listening to it on the headphones. Good musically, but from an arranging perspective, needed lots more attention to detail with regard to sonic separation and stuff like that, and production. Percussion was a little bit loud, and some of the important phrases from the film itself didn't get through because of it. But and also it had quite an abrupt finish as well. But again, I keep coming back to this thing. If this is a first attempt at this kind of thing, then well done. Yeah.
Yeah, well done. And I mentioned, because I thought it was important that we noted down that what Alison had said in her notes. And I think it's great when people just sort of say, right, I'm just going to give this a go, and that's exactly what she did, and that's what came across, because she put down in her notes about that she should have watched the entire short film first, which I thought was also really good to have sort of talked about the process, and then said so she could get a better sense of what it was about. So obviously I think sort of tells you about pre-production, all that kind of thing of pre-planning what you're going to do, and she noted this down. But then she said that I meticulously analysed the trailer frame by frame, and we did a good job of finding, or an okay job of finding the emotional backdrop. Absolutely, that's what I picked up from this, was that there was a lot of energy in it, and they've Alison studied the piece and picked out the emotion. And whilst you can develop your skills as you go, and I really recommend doing as many of these as possible to develop your skills, of course, but also watch as many films as possible to see how it's done and what people's different takes on it. So I think that's the real positives in this, and the fact that you've looked at it and gone, yeah, I know there's an emotion there, I'm going to pick that emotion out, and absolutely made it work. I think for me, the emotions, a lot of the emotions in the clip itself, which you pointed out, let the picture do some of the heavy lifting for you. You don't have to score it, all of it. And what I mean by that is that Alison had pointed out that she decided to layer. Sometimes when you layer, it's just gonna press down what's naturally in the film. So let the film do some of it for you. So the cliche, I suppose, of less is more. And also the problem when you start layering is you're gonna much more of a chance of exposing MIDI samples. And this was a bit more what was going on. So take a step back from it. You picked out the emotion. That was great. And just keep going and keep working on more clips, and you'll definitely start to develop these skills. So well done. Really good.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. And another one from the same person, yeah?
Yes. Right. Let me cue that one up. So this is this version of Tears of Steel trailer.
Why don't you just admit that you're freaked out by my robot hands?
Okay.
I think she's with us in the chat, so she's really grateful for the feedback.
Great. I think keep coming back to this thing about it. These are all first attempts. This is not bad at all, actually. A bit sound designy at the beginning. I think from a musical point of view, the pulsating bass and the drums work well musically, but in terms of it being applied to film music, it just needed more light and shade. The relentless kind of bass and drums, eventually they end up detracting from the film. Musically they're good, but often when you put them to a film, you've got to be much more observant of the kind of different dynamics of the film. The semi-quaver bass rhythm, obviously, like I say, interesting and very energetic, but possibly a little bit too heavy-handed for the film, but well done.
Yeah, well done. Similar points. I thought that it was a stronger piece, and I thought again, if it was your early days of film scoring, there's a lot of positives about this because it had loads of energy in it. I think it was similar point to what I mentioned to someone else's earlier, is that you found a groove and then you just used it. So the problem, and Brian's already pointed out about light and shade, it started to just become, sort of relentless at that point. So I think the ideas that came in at the start was like, great, it made the action stand out. But once more, the lines of dialogue, the drops, they needed to sort of, particularly I thought for the credits bit, it needed to vary slightly, and not have all that energy in it, because then it just becomes kind of problematic. So, well, I think there was some really strong elements to this, and again, I mean, you put down in your notes that about how you really enjoyed the process of this, which comes across because I felt your commitment to it and the energy in it was great. So keep going with this. This stuff is really well done. It's good.
Great. Okay, is there one more?
One more.
Okay, and that is?
It is Fabio Conti.
Fabio Conti, another regular. Excellent. Okay.
Right, okay, here we go.
Why don't you just admit that you're freaked out by my robot hand?
This is pretty freaky.
It's not my fault, you know.
Okay, I thought this was really good. It's a shame it kind of over and done with really quickly. This some really nice brass writing there. Some lovely, nice brass swells that are coupled together with cluster writing. And when I say cluster writing, I mean there's a chord that's basically compressed, kind of 5 or 6 notes in a very short kind of vertical range of each other. Some great writing there, great brass section stuff. There's a nice little chord trick as well, where I think it was where you go from the F to the D flat, which is classic kind of science fiction writing. Really works really well, and it's very good that you've observed those kind of those kind of harmonies. They work really well, and that thing at 41 seconds, I think it's the way it ends actually, with the that really fast, frantic brass writing right at the end. Really good stuff. So well done.
Excellent. And that's it, yes?
Shall I just give you my
Steph.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, go on.
a few quick points? Not a lot to. I mean, Brian's covered it. The main thing is that it seemed. I'm not sure if it seemed a shorter version, but it was 14 over in 49 seconds. This one, I thought. To cram all that into 49 seconds was impressive, actually. I did think there was some of the string writing was really good, and moving through different themes. I felt possibly got a little bit carried away with some of it. I think the drop points and over the lines of dialogue needed shape, and both of them actually, the first bit with the brain and then the second one. Some of the MIDI samples as well, a little bit exposed, but great energy in this, and so I think that, all really positive, and the kind of the overall emotional arc, where which there are changes, you went for them, so well done to do this in 49 seconds. So good stuff, well done.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, chaps, as always. Amazing. And I know that we've got even more amazing stuff lined up, kicking in during the course of this month. One of which is that many of you will be aware of the masterclass that Brian and Stefan did regarding the tropes of sort of James Bond type music to go with our Vespa competition, and we're going to be doing more of those masterclasses, details of which I will reveal in a week's time on a live stream. But to accompany those, as requested, we are also developing these cheat sheets that people will be able to download to summarize some of the key points really that come out of those masterclasses, and kind of crystallize and condense them down into really succinct piece of information. But that's not to say, of course, that you shouldn't tune in for the masterclass, because there'll always be much more in the masterclass than we can possibly condense into a single page. And also it's great to be in the live chat, because you can interact a little bit and you can ask questions which Brian and Stefan will hopefully have time to answer as well. So that's one thing that's coming soon. So please join us next week, a week today, this exact time next week, where I will be explaining more. Vespa will have closed. The competition closes on Monday. Keep working on it this weekend if you haven't submitted, and some fantastic entries so far, and we'll start the judging next week. But I will be sharing details on what's coming next, which is really terrific. It's something we've never done before, and it's new opportunities really for composers, and it includes these things like more masterclasses and so on. So that'll be next Friday. So yeah, good luck to everybody that's finishing their Vesper scores this weekend. I know that Brian and Stefan are both looking forward to hearing those. And Nicholas Dodd is primed and waiting in the wings to hear your music as well. So without further ado, let's do the draw for the Fracture Sounds giveaway. There it is, with all the names of everybody that submitted for the... Brian, are you playing some music?
I tell you what I'm doing. I'm playing what I can hear in the background. There's some background music that's been on all
it's
all
the
night.
church bells at the cathedral.
I sent you a WhatsApp. There's this thing going all the way through. It's very low, fortunately, but Christ, it's driving me mad.
It's driving me mad. It's the bells from the cathedral. I don't know.
Oh, just get them to stop.
I'll go and cut the ropes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So,
God.
So we've got a bunch of anyway. Thank you for that. We've got a bunch of people that submitted for that trailer double bill that we've just been reviewing. We've put them onto this spinning wheel, and we're going to spin it and see who gets a free sample library from our friends at Fracture Sounds. So let's go. Fabio is here and says thanks again for the feedback, by the way. Paul Coles, another familiar name. There we are. Congratulations, Paul. I will be in touch, and you will have a choice as to which library from Fracture Sounds you would like to indulge in. But take a look at the website, the Fracture Sounds website, and see what might be of interest to you. But I'll be in touch anyway. And for those of you that have won before, I would really love to get some feedback from you on what you thought of the libraries that you won, and what have you done with it. You know, if you've got something on YouTube that makes use of that, let me know. I'd love to hear it, and I'm sure the guys from Fracture would love to hear it. So Fracture are going to continue to support us with these giveaways, so that's another thing to look forward to next month. And that is essentially it from me. Any final words, Stefan and Brian?
No. Say good luck with your submissions.
Good luck, everybody. Yeah, you've got 48 hours and a little bit more, so crack on. If you haven't started, it's not too late.
Last minute.
Yeah, all right, brilliant. And if you haven't seen it, I really recommend the masterclass that Brian and Stefan did about the James Bond style of music. Really fantastic. In spite of some unfortunate audio issues, as always, there's some really great stuff in there. And we'll be releasing that cheat sheet for that very soon. So obviously too late for the competition, but everything's there on YouTube. But it'll be there as a resource then for people moving forward. So thank you again, Brian and Stefan. Really appreciate your time. Stay on, because I want to have a chat with you after we finish the live stream. But thanks everyone. Have a great evening or day, depending where you are, and a great weekend. And I'll speak to you all next week. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.